A new patio can make a real difference to your garden, but it's a huge investment. And these are the mistakes to avoid if you want to choose the right one for your space. One of the commonest mistakes people make is choosing the wrong paving material. What you need is a paving material that suits your house, but also the style of garden you're creating around it. It's no wonder we make mistakes when we see the enormous choice there is of paving material. Let's start with natural stone. We have sandstone. This one here, classic for a cottage garden. It's very friendly looking, it's a warm colour. Like a lot of stones, it changes colour between being wet and dry. So this sort of riven sandstone works really well outside a thatched cottage, in a cosy little garden. If you want something a bit more sleek in the natural stone line, look at limestone. Now limestone can come in this pale grey or a rather warmer honey colour. You can see that already it's starting to look just a little bit more sleek than the sandstone. And then if you really want to go down the I'm so cool road, slate, glorious, looks particularly good with green foliage billowing over it. It really shows off plants well, slate. But it's darker, it's not so light reflective as the other forms, particularly the limestone. So by choosing the different shade, the different material, you're creating a whole different atmosphere in your garden. If you want a good all-rounder, I reckon that riven sandstone suits almost every location. You can lay it differently, you can lay it random different size slabs, or you can lay it so they're all the same, and that will give you a slightly different style. But it is a very comfortable colour, and it goes darker and beautiful shades come out of it when the rain lands on it. What you can find with it is it's very slippy when it's wet and covered in algae. So what you do need to do is to use a pressure washer on it at least once a year. I try and do mine early spring to clear it for the summer, and then again sometime during the winter. Anytime it starts to get a little bit slippy, pressure wash it, and then you'll find it's really quite resilient to your footprints. Of course, you don't have to use such hefty lumps of paving if you want a more intricate arrangement. Down here we've got natural stone pavers or pavios. Here sandstone, different sizes, sandstone sawn into sort of brick shaped that you can create a herringbone effect with. Granite sets, these little blocks here, wonderful for sort of courtyards, held to actually get a table to stop wobbling on. Just a hint, you know. Here we've got clay, natural clay turned into bricks, laid in a normal bonding fashion, and sandstone over there slightly bigger than these. So you can see the world is your oyster, or in this case the earth is your oyster when it comes to choosing exactly what you want. You could be forgiven for being baffled. Take your time to think about it and imagine what your house will look like, what the garden will look like with any of these particular types of paving. What you can do with all these materials here is use them to intersperse between the larger paving. Is actually quite good in terms of variation for your eye. It just lifts it a bit from the completely flat. You could do a few brick inserts inside your paving of sandstone or limestone, but don't get too busy. For me, the paving is important because it frames the picture. It sets off the plants which actually provide the excitement. Another thing to consider is, where is your patio going? How much foot traffic is it going to have to take? In recent years, porcelain paving has become hugely popular. It can be cheaper than natural stone. It's also much less likely to get slippery. It has a non-porous surface, so algae can't sort of take root in it. These different shades show you just how versatile it can be. If you have this colour porcelain paving, all I would say that in winter you get muddy footprints right the way across it, but they do wash off very quickly. What you will find, if you have a tiny patio between tall buildings, that a light colour like this will reflect light brilliantly. It'll make you feel better, and it'll make your plants grow better as well. You can see that there's a great variety in terms of colour and texture on porcelain paving. So if you want it to look a bit like sandstone, but you want it to be much easier to look after, choose the shade that does the one, but also provides you with that ease of maintenance. The size of the pavers you choose should depend on the overall size of the patio or terrace. If it's very small, don't be tempted to use lots of small ones which will make it look bitty. A few larger paving stones in a smaller area will give it the impression of more space than is actually there. It works the other way round. Lots of little ones tend to make something look small. Several smaller number of larger ones tend to expand it. Remember too the British weather. It rains quite a lot, and that means that your paving is going to change colour when it's wet. It does make them look darker, but what it does, particularly with the sandstone, is it brings out the different colours of the minerals within it. And therefore, when you're sitting inside and it's raining, you can look outside and say, well, it does have a bit more interest when it's wet, doesn't it? The next consideration might seem rather boring, but it's vital. Drainage. There is no point in having a patio which is absolutely flat, because water will sit on it and you'll come out and be splashing around and it'll stay slippier for longer. So patios need to be laid with a fall. That means the water can actually run off. I'm not talking about 1 in 3 or 1 in 4, 1 in 60 is the accepted fall, and that way the water will gradually disappear, either into a border next to the patio or terrace or into an area of gravel. It needs somewhere to escape to. That's very important, and then when the sun does come out again, your patio will have drained and it's more usable. When it comes to laying the patio, only do it yourself if you have the necessary skills. It's such a shame when you've spent a lot of money on paving to try and do it yourself and make an absolute pig's ear of it. So don't be tempted to save and bodge it yourself. Find a reputable, reliable professional who will lay you a good patio or terrace. How do you find them? Do your homework online, but also go and look at some previous work that particular workman has done. If you like the look of it, and if you talk to the householder and say, what were they like when they were actually doing it? Were they all right, or were they a pain in, Find out how good they were to deal with, whether they turned up on time, whether they were polite, pleasant, and that the finish was really good. Only then should you be prepared to pay the money, which won't be an insignificant amount, but you know you will get a job that will last, look good, and be durable. With all those things borne in mind, you can rest assured that the money you're spending on probably the most expensive thing in your garden is going to look great and serve you well for years. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, click below. It's going to be a fantastic year in our new garden with tips and inspiration, so why not join us?